Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something we've all felt before: betrayal. Being lied to, cheated on, or hurt by someone you trusted. It's one of the deepest pains we can experience. But listen to me closely when I say this: it doesn't define you. You hear me? It does not define you. It refines you. It makes you stronger, but only if you understand the reasons behind it. See, there are only 5 reasons someone cheats, someone lies, or someone hurts you. And understanding these reasons will not only give you clarity, it will set you free. Reason number 1, they're broken. When someone cheats, lies, or hurts you, the first thing we often ask ourselves is, what did I do wrong? But the truth is, many times it's not about you at all. It's about them. And one of the biggest reasons people betray others is because they are broken. They're carrying pieces of themselves that they've never put back together, wounds they've never allowed to heal. And those broken pieces, they cut. Not just them, but the people around them. Now let's unpack this. Brokenness comes in many forms. Some people broken by their past, childhood trauma, neglect, betrayal from someone they trusted. They've been hurt so deeply that shaped the way they see the world. Maybe they grew up in an environment where the love was conditional, where trust was a fragile thing, easily shattered. And when that's all you know, it's hard to believe in something real. It's hard to trust. It's hard to commit. So what do? They self-sabotage. They hurt others before others can hurt them. It's their way of protecting themselves, even though it ends up doing more damage in the long run. Some people are broken by insecurity. They don't see their own worth, so they look for validation in all the wrong places. They cheat because they crave attention. They lie because they think the truth will make them unlovable. They hurt you because they're desperate to feel powerful, to feel like they're in control. But here's the thing: no amount of cheating, lying, or hurting will fill the void inside them. That emptiness, it's theirs to fix, not yours. And then there are those who are broken by fear. Fear of vulnerability, fear of commitment, fear of being truly seen. These are the people who build walls instead of bridges. They push people away, even the ones they care about, especially the ones they care about. Because deep down, they're scared that if you really knew them, their flaws, their insecurities, their past, you wouldn't stick around. So they hurt you before you have the chance to leave. It's not rational, but brokenness rarely is. But listen to me closely. Their brokenness is not your burden to carry. You are not responsible for fixing someone who refuses to pick up the pieces of their own life. You can offer support, yes. You can offer love, yes. But at the end of the day, healing is a choice. And if they're not willing to choose it, there's nothing you can do to save them. Now, here's the hard truth. Broken people often don't realize they're broken. They might think they're fine, that their actions are justified, that the problem lies with everyone else. It takes a lot of self-awareness and courage to look in the mirror and say, I need to change. Some people never get there. They move from one relationship to the next, leaving a trail of broken hearts behind them. Not because they're evil, but because they're lost. So what does this mean for you? It means you need to stop blaming yourself for their actions. You need to stop thinking, if only I had been better, they wouldn't have done this. Their behavior is a reflection of their inner struggle, not your worth. It means you need to set boundaries. You can love someone who's broken, but you can't let their brokenness break you. Protect your peace. Protect your heart. And most importantly, it means you need to learn the art of letting go. Because sometimes the best thing you can do for a broken person is to walk away. Not out of anger, not out of spite, but out of love for yourself and for them. Staying in a toxic situation doesn't help anyone. It just prolongs the pain. Now, let me be clear. Brokenness isn't a permanent state. People can heal, people can grow, but it takes work. It takes honesty. It takes a willingness to face the pain and do the hard, messy, uncomfortable work of putting the pieces back together. You can't do that work for someone else. They have to want it for themselves. So if someone has hurt you because they're broken, don't let their pain define your future. Learn from the experience. Grow from it. Use it to build resilience, to strengthen your sense of self, to clarify what you deserve. Because you deserve love that's whole, not fractured. You deserve honesty, trust, and respect. And if someone can't give you that, it's not a reflection of your value, it's a reflection of their struggle. Remember this, brokenness is not an excuse, it's an explanation. And while explanations can bring understanding, they don't erase the pain. You have every right to feel hurt, you have every right to grieve. But don't stay in that space. Don't let their brokenness hold you back from the life you're meant to live. So when someone hurts you, remind yourself, this is about them, not me. Their brokenness is not my fault. And it's not my fight to win. I choose peace. I choose freedom. And I choose to keep moving forward. Reason number 2, they're selfish. And when someone cheats, lies, or hurts you, one of the harshest truths to face is this. Sometimes they do it because they're selfish. They think only of themselves, their desires, their needs, their impulses. And here's the reality. Selfishness is a root cause of so much pain in relationships. But understanding this reason is key to freeing yourself from the guilt, blame, and confusion that often comes when you're on the receiving end of someone's selfishness. Selfish people operate from a mindset of me first. They prioritize their wants above everything else, even at the expense of others. When someone cheats, it's not because you weren't enough. It's because they wanted something in the moment and didn't care how it would affect you. When someone lies, it's often to cover their own mistakes or protect themselves from consequences, with no regard for the trust they're breaking. When someone hurts you, it's because their comfort, convenience, or ego mattered more to them than your feelings. Here's the thing about selfishness. It blinds people. It makes them see the world as a one-way street. They focus on what they can take, not what they can give. They're so wrapped up in their own needs that they fail to consider the impact of their actions on others. It's not that they don't know right from wrong. It's that they choose themselves every time. But let me tell you something important. Their selfishness is not your reflection. It's not your fault. Too often, when someone betrays us, we start questioning ourselves. Was I not good enough? Did I not give enough? Did I push them away? Stop right there. Their selfish actions are a mirror of them, not you. A person who is consumed by selfishness will take and take until there's nothing left, no matter how much you give. Selfish people often lack empathy. They don't put themselves in your shoes because they're too busy looking at their own. They're thinking about how to satisfy their immediate desires or protect their own image. And here's where it gets tricky. Some selfish people are master manipulators. They'll justify their actions, blame you, or twist the situation to make themselves the victim. They'll try to convince you that their selfishness is somehow your fault. Don't fall for it. You don't owe them an explanation, and you certainly don't owe them forgiveness if they aren't willing to take accountability. Now let's get to the heart of the matter. What do you do when someone's selfishness causes you pain? First, recognize it for what it is. Call it out. If not to them, at least to yourself. Don't sugarcoat it, don't make excuses for them, and don't let their actions diminish your self-worth. Someone choosing themselves over you does not mean you are less than. It simply means they didn't have the capacity to love or respect you in the way you deserve. Second, set boundaries. When dealing with a selfish person, boundaries are your armor. They're your way of saying, I see you for who you are, and I won't let your selfishness consume me. Boundaries are not about punishing the other person. They're about protecting your peace. And listen, some selfish people will resist. They'll push back. They'll call you cold or unfair because they're not used to someone standing up to them. But hold your ground. Because if you let a selfish person dictate the terms of your relationship, you'll lose yourself in the process. Third, don't waste your energy trying to change them. Selfishness is a deep-rooted trait, and while people can change, they have to want it for themselves. You can't love someone into selflessness. You can't sacrifice enough to make them suddenly care about others. That's not how it works. And the more you try, the more drained and resentful you'll become. Save that energy for yourself, for the people who reciprocate your love and respect. Finally, let go of the guilt. Selfish people are skilled at making you feel guilty for their actions. They'll say things like, "You didn't understand me," or "I had no choice." They'll paint themselves as the victim to avoid taking responsibility. Don't buy into it. Their selfishness is a choice, and it's a choice that has nothing to do with your worth, your value, or your effort. Here's the truth you need to hear. Selfish people often lose what they don't appreciate. They may take from you now, but one day they'll realize that their selfishness cost them something priceless. Your trust, your love, your presence. And when that day comes, it won't be your responsibility to pick up the pieces. You'll be long gone, living your life, thriving in your peace. So if someone has hurt you because they're selfish, don't let it consume you. Learn the lesson, but don't carry the burden. Selfish people may act as if the world revolves around them, but your world doesn't have to. You have the power to choose how you respond. Choose strength, choose clarity, choose freedom, because at the end of the day, you can't control how selfish someone else is, but you can control how much space you allow them to take up in your life. And that, my friend, is the beginning of your liberation. Reason number 3, they're afraid. When someone cheats, lies, or hurts you, it's easy to jump to the conclusion that it's about you, that there's something wrong with you, or that you weren't enough. But sometimes it's not about you at all. It's about them and the deep underlying fear that drives their behavior. Fear of commitment, fear of vulnerability, fear of being truly seen for who they are. And that fear, it often manifests as hurtful actions. When you see them in communication. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in a person's life, especially when it goes unchecked. Fear can make people act in ways they normally wouldn't, ways that hurt others. Fear of opening up can lead someone to push you away before you have the chance to get too close. Fear of getting hurt can lead to them hurting you first. Fear of failure can make them sabotage what's good, because deep down, they're scared they're not worthy of it. Fear causes people to act irrationally, even though they may tell themselves it's for self-preservation. But here's the truth. No amount of running, hiding, or hurting others can ever protect them from their own fears. The fear that causes someone to cheat is often rooted in the fear of being vulnerable. Vulnerability requires courage. It requires trust. But for someone who's afraid of being seen, who's afraid of being hurt or rejected, vulnerability feels like a risk too great to take. So they do what they think is easier. They cheat. They lie. They close off. They choose the temporary thrill or escape because it feels safer than the long-term commitment of being emotionally exposed. But it's a lie. It's a false sense of security. Because while they might think they're protecting themselves, they're only hurting themselves more in the long run. And they're hurting you too in the process. Then there's the fear of being unworthy. Some people fear that if you truly see them, you'll see their flaws, their mistakes, their imperfections, and you'll walk away. The fear of rejection can be so overwhelming that it causes them to push others away first. They'll distance themselves, pull back, or act out. But this fear-based behavior isn't about you. It's about their own deep sense of inadequacy. It's the belief that they're not good enough to be loved, or that they're not capable of sustaining a healthy, open relationship. So they sabotage what's good because they're terrified it will eventually slip away. And let's not forget the fear of failure. People who have been hurt before, who have experienced failure or loss, often live in constant fear that it will happen again. So instead of facing those fears head on, they react by running away from love, commitment, or intimacy. They cheat because they're scared of being caught in a situation that mirrors their past mistakes. They lie because they're afraid of the consequences. And they hurt you because they don't know how to deal with the weight of their own unresolved fears. But here's where you need to get real with yourself. Their fears do not have to become your problem. Their fear of vulnerability, their fear of rejection, and their fear of failure are theirs to face. You cannot do it for them. You can support them, you can be there for them, but at the end of the day, healing from fear requires courage, and that courage has to come from within them. You cannot fix their fears, and it's not your job to carry them. It's important to recognize that people who act out of fear often don't see themselves clearly. They see their fear as an obstacle, a defense mechanism, and they may not even realize how much they're hurting others in the process. They might not even understand the root of their behavior because fear clouds judgment and distorts reality. But when someone betrays you because of their fear, don't take it personally. It's not a reflection of your value or your worth. It's a reflection of their struggle. Now, let me give you the hard truth. The only way for a person to overcome their fears is by facing them. It's not about running away from them or hiding behind walls of defense. It's not about avoiding the things that scare them. It's about working through it, being vulnerable, and taking responsibility for their actions. If someone isn't willing to face their fears, then they aren't ready to heal. And if they're not ready to heal, you have to make the choice to move on. So if someone has hurt you because they're afraid, understand that their fear is driving their actions. But it's not an excuse for their behavior. You deserve someone who is willing to face their fears with you, not someone who runs away or hurts you because they can't confront them. You deserve someone who can be vulnerable, who can show up with authenticity, and who can trust that love doesn't require perfection, but it does require openness. If someone is constantly pushing you away because of their fear, then it's time to stop chasing them. It's time to stop trying to fix them. You don't need to fix anyone. You need to protect your peace and your heart. Don't let their fear rob you of your joy. You don't have to carry their baggage, and you certainly don't have to stay in a relationship where fear reigns over love. Remember this, fear is a natural part of life. We all experience it. But it should never dictate our actions or control our relationships. You have the power to choose how you respond. So choose wisely. Choose healing, choose peace. Choose love that is fearless and free. Because at the end of the day, you're not responsible for overcoming anyone else's fear. You are only responsible for how you allow their fear to impact your life. And if they can't rise above their fear, then it's time for you to rise above them. Reason number 4, they don't value you. When someone cheats, lies, or hurts you, one of the hardest pills to swallow is that it might not be about what you did or didn't do. It might not be about how much you loved them or how much you gave. Sometimes the painful truth is that the person who hurt you simply didn't value you. And that, my friend, has nothing to do with your worth. It has everything to do with their inability to see and appreciate what they had. People who don't value you treat you like you're disposable. They take your time, your energy, your love, and they don't give it the respect it deserves. They don't recognize the effort you put into the relationship, the sacrifices you made, or the trust you gave them. Instead, they take until they've drained you dry, and they still never fully appreciate what you brought to the table. And when it's time to show up for you, they falter, they lie, they cheat, they hurt you, not because you're not valuable, because they don't see your value. They don't see the treasure you are. The truth is, when someone doesn't value you, they don't know how to love. Love is built on appreciation and respect. It's about understanding that the person you're with is irreplaceable, that their time, their heart, their presence in your life is something sacred. But when someone doesn't value you, they don't recognize that. They see you as an option, not a priority. They see you as something they can take for granted, and that's where the problem starts. If someone doesn't value you, they won't treat you like you matter. They won't make the effort to show you love in the ways that resonate with you. They'll make excuses for why they can't give you what you need, and yet they'll find time to give it to others. They'll disregard your feelings, ignore your needs, and take you for granted until you're no longer there. It's not because you're not worthy of love. It's because they're not capable of giving it in a meaningful, consistent way. And that's the painful reality. No matter how much you give, if someone doesn't value you, they won't give you the respect and care you deserve. But let me tell you something. You are valuable. Your worth isn't defined by someone else's inability to see it. Someone else's failure to appreciate you does not diminish your greatness. It doesn't mean you're not worthy of love, loyalty, or respect. It means they were blind to the blessing they had in you. And that's a loss, not for you, but for them. It's easy to internalize the hurt when someone doesn't value you. You might start asking, what did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough for them? Stop right there. You are more than enough. The problem wasn't that you weren't good enough. The problem is that they didn't recognize your worth. They didn't see the depth of what you brought to the relationship. They didn't understand the beauty of the bond you offered. And that's not a reflection of your worth. That's a reflection of their inability to truly see you. You deserve someone who values you, someone who recognizes your worth, not just when it's convenient, but consistently. You deserve someone who honors your time, your energy, your love, and your presence in their life. If someone doesn't value you, you have two choices. You can stay and keep giving, hoping that one day they'll see it, or you can walk away and reclaim your worth. Walking away doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're choosing to honor yourself. It means you're choosing to stop pouring into someone who can't see the value of your love, your time, and your commitment. And that choice, that's an act of self-respect. It's a declaration that you know your worth and you won't settle for less than what you deserve. You see, people who don't value you will always make you feel like you have to prove your worth to them. They'll make you jump through hoops, apologize for things that weren't your fault, and give more than you should, all in the hopes that they'll finally see how much you care. But here's the thing. No one should have to prove their worth to someone else. Your worth is not up for debate. It's inherent. And if someone can't see that, then they're not the one for you. Don't let someone's inability to value you define how you see yourself. Don't let their actions make you question your worth. Your value is intrinsic. It's not based on how someone treats you. It's based on who you are. And you deserve someone who can recognize that from the very beginning. You deserve someone who can match your effort, who can appreciate you in ways that align with your needs, and who can give you the love and respect you give in return. So when someone hurts you because they don't value you, don't internalize it. Don't make it about you. Make it about them. Because the truth is, someone who doesn't value you isn't capable of offering you the kind of relationship you deserve. And when you walk away from that, you're not losing, you're winning. You're freeing yourself from a situation that was never meant for you and opening up the space for the love, respect, and appreciation you truly deserve. Never forget your worth. Keep moving forward. You're worthy of so much more. Reason number 5, it's a lesson for you. When someone cheats, lies, or hurts you, it feels like a betrayal. It feels like you've given something valuable to someone and they've taken it and broken it into pieces. The pain, the anger, the confusion, it can feel unbearable. And in those moments, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that what happened was unfair, that you didn't deserve it, that you were wrong. And you know what? Maybe you were, but there's one more truth that's just as important to acknowledge. Sometimes the pain you're experiencing is not just something you endure, it's something you need to learn from. It's a lesson, not a punishment. Yes, I know this may be hard to hear, but life has a way of teaching us through challenges, through hardships, through pain. And sometimes the lessons we need to learn come wrapped in the worst kinds of experiences. When someone cheats or hurts you, it's easy to get caught up in the hurt and miss the bigger picture. But if you step back and look at it from a different angle, you'll realize that it's not all in vain. Every experience, even the painful ones, carries with it a lesson that will help you grow and evolve as a person. One of the first lessons pain teaches us is about boundaries. When someone betrays you, it's an opportunity to reflect on whether you've allowed others to overstep your boundaries. Maybe you've been too forgiving, too accommodating, too quick to put others' needs ahead of your own. Painful experiences can wake you up to the importance of setting clear boundaries, both for yourself and for others. And once you understand the importance of your boundaries, you won't be so willing to let people cross them without consequences. Another lesson pain teaches us is about self-respect. Sometimes when we're hurt by others, we end up questioning ourselves. We start to wonder, what did I do wrong? Why didn't they value me? But here's the key. The way someone treats you says more about them than it does about you. Their actions reflect their character, not your worth. A painful experience is a reminder to stand tall, to remember your value, and to never let anyone treat you in a way that diminishes your sense of self-worth. The lesson here is to never compromise who you are to please someone else. Never give away your peace in the name of love or loyalty. You are worthy of respect, of kindness, of trust. And if someone can't see that, it's a reflection of their shortcomings, not yours. The lesson? Never lower your standards for anyone. You should be treated with the same love, care, and respect that you give to others. Pain also teaches us about forgiveness. But here's the catch. It's not always about forgiving the other person for their actions. Sometimes it's about forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself for staying too long, for ignoring the red flags, for giving someone your heart when they didn't deserve it. That's a lesson in self-love and growth. Once you forgive yourself, you free yourself from the burden of holding on to resentment and anger. You release the grip that pain has over you, and you make room for the healing that's waiting for you. Let me be clear. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget what happened or that you condone the behavior. It means that you no longer let the hurt dictate your future. It means that you no longer allow someone else's actions to control your emotions, your happiness, your peace. Forgiveness is about letting go of the past, not for the other person's sake, but for your own. It's an act of freedom. Then there's the lesson of growth. Every painful experience in your life has the potential to shape you into a stronger, wiser, more resilient person. When someone hurts you, it forces you to confront your own feelings, your own boundaries, your own needs. It challenges you to examine what you truly want and deserve in relationships. And that examination, though painful, will push you to grow into someone who knows their worth and will never settle for less than they deserve. In these moments, you learn what really matters. You learn the importance of surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, who support you, who treat you with respect. You also learn to trust yourself more, to trust your instincts, to listen to your heart, and to make decisions based on your own needs and values, not based on what someone else wants. The lesson of pain is also a lesson of resilience. You may not see it now, but going through hard times makes you stronger. It builds your character. It toughens you up for future challenges. You will emerge from this hurt a different person, a more self-aware, self-assured person. You'll be less likely to tolerate mistreatment, more likely to walk away from toxic situations, and more confident in your ability to protect your peace. And don't forget the lesson of patience. Healing takes time. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and forget the pain. You're not going to suddenly be over it just because you want to be. But over time, you'll see the pain for what it is. A step on your journey, not the end of it. You'll find peace. You'll find clarity. You'll find strength. So, when someone cheats, lies, or hurts you, don't let the pain consume you. Don't let the experience define your self-worth. Instead, take a step back and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I take from this experience that will help me grow into a better, stronger version of myself? Because every hardship is a lesson in disguise. Every painful experience is an opportunity to evolve. And the more you grow from the pain, the more you learn about yourself, the more you realize that you are capable of handling anything life throws at you. You are stronger than you know. And this moment, it's just one chapter in a much larger story of resilience, growth, and ultimate success. In conclusion, when someone cheats, lies, or hurts you, it can feel like the world is falling apart. But instead of allowing the pain to define you, take a step back and understand that there are reasons behind their actions, reasons that reflect their struggles, not your worth. Whether it's because they're broken, selfish, afraid, or don't value you, or even because it's a lesson meant to shape you. These experiences offer you a unique opportunity to learn, grow, and become stronger. You are not defined by how others treat you. You are defined by how you rise in the face of adversity. When someone betrays you, it's not a reflection of your inadequacy. It's a reflection of their issues, their failures, their inability to appreciate what they had. And when you recognize that, you take back your power. You learn to set boundaries, to value yourself, to forgive and heal, and to walk away when it's time. Remember, every painful experience is a lesson in disguise. It's a lesson that will make you wiser, more resilient, and more aware of what you deserve in life. So never let anyone's actions make you question your worth. You are valuable, and no one has the power to diminish that unless you let them. Keep growing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep moving forward. Thank you.